Honorable Speaker, I had the occasion to raise this issue with the previous Defence Minister as well. Now we have our current Defence Minister here. There is a problem that we are facing in my constituency, Thiruvananthapuram, where we exactly have a military camp. It is an extremely peaceful area. There has been no war since 1799. As far as I am concerned, it is inexplicable that people whose houses are within 10 meters are not allowed to renovate them. If one day some house collapses on passing by citizens, we will have a tragedy of monumental proportions. I urge the government to kindly be reasonable about these matters, to issue a quick list, at least, exempting areas that are not in high security zones so that ordinary citizens can live their lives normally, repair their homes, and at the same time ensure the safety of surrounding areas. We have been put into a position where there is a blanket rule, then court cases, further delays, and massive suspension. I think the result is that lots of innocent people are suffering because they do not have an opportunity to actually repair and reconstruct their homes. I would urge the government to have a flexible, humane approach in this matter. In highly sensitive and high security areas, we understand they need more time, but this has been dragged down for 3 years and many people are in danger of this situation getting out of hand. I request for a reasonable response from the Honorable Minister. Honorable Speaker, sir, the question is well taken and we must appreciate the concern of the Honorable Member because he hails from there and he has to address the concerns of the people also. As I said, this is a part of the legacy of the two agreements which were appropriately accomplished by the then government, first in 1988 and then in 1998. Now, the reason why this issue of storage has come up is that the in-house storage in that reactor is going to reach its full capacity by 2022. So before that we are expected to make an arrangement away from the reactor. This process is called away from reactor storage. The exact location, as has also been hinted upon by the Honorable Speaker, I may not be able to identify for security reasons, but certainly this is at a reasonable distance from the reactor. The reactor gets filled up and this is then stored for as many as 40 years deep down below the surface of the earth by nearly 15 meters, and then it can be used for recycling. The second concern which the Honorable Member may have in his mind, and which has also appeared in a section of media in Tamil Nadu, is that it is going to become a dumping site for waste fuel from all over India. I want to use this opportunity to clarify that it is not going to be so. Please rest assured about this. It is going to be fuel specific. So any fuel which is carried from Tarapur or from Rajasthan will automatically get rejected because the inherent mechanism which is being put in place is like that. So let us rest assured that this fuel will be reused for the same reactor which is working in collaboration with Russia. Sir, I am glad that the Honorable Member has raised this issue. I think it requires to be shared with the rest of the House. As she has said that I should give a convincing answer, I hope I will be able to convince her also along with the other members. The point here is, the radiation which the Honorable Member is possibly referring to is not something which is in the lethal or a virulent criterion. In some of the countries in the world today, for example, in France, they have nuclear plants in residential colonies. The safeguard mechanisms are well built. When this issue had come up in the House a few years ago, I did a small research to find out as to how many scientists in the Bhabha Atomic Research Center had actually died of radiation or fallen sick due to radiation. I took out the mortality list and found that there were hardly 3 or 4 untimely deaths. Out of them, 2 deaths were due to cancer, which were not related to radiation. In other words, what I am trying to say is, first of all, it is the responsibility of all of us to launch a mass awareness campaign that there is no radiation risk to health from nuclear plants because the mechanism is so well built with safeguards. Otherwise, what is happening is that wherever we start a new plant or try to use the exploration site for future prospects of building a plant, Due to lack of mass awareness, there are certain kinds of apprehensions and resentments, and sometimes political protests also come in. We faced this in Rajasthan and in Meghalaya in northeast region. As far as the closed fuel processing is concerned, which you have already mentioned, the deposit is made deep down, maybe 15 meters below the surface of the earth. It is something which has been practiced, tried and found to be reliable after a number of years of experimentation. The atomic energy plants in India are following some of the most stringent methods of monitoring right from the time the plant is planned. Even before the construction of the plant starts, there is a deep scrutiny carried out. During the construction, there is a scrutiny every 3 months. After construction also, there is a scrutiny every 6 months. There is a review after 3 years. Then after 5 years, we have a mechanism to get it reviewed by external sources. We have Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. Upon that, we allow it to be monitored and scrutinized by the International Board, of which US is also a member. So I think this is a time-tested phenomenon which is going on. Secondly, I would like to tell the House as to why this apprehension comes in. I must appreciate the Honorable Member. She was referring to some of the incidents which happened abroad like Fukushima and all. Those plants were located closer to what is known as the seismic zone or tsunami zone because of lack of experience of the scientific fraternity at that time. In our case, for example, the Kudankulam nuclear power plant, the seismic zone or tsunami zone is in Indonesia, which is nearly 1,300 kilometers away from it. On the other hand, for the other plants which are located in the western coast, like Tarapur nuclear power plant, etc., the nearest point is in Pakistan, which is again about more than 1,000 kilometers away. So, I think that apprehension is also not substantiated by scientific parameters. Therefore, we should rest assured. Rather, all of us should try to create mass awareness so that we can go ahead with these expansion programs. Now we have brought the atomic energy plants even to North India. Closer to Delhi, we are having one in Haryana. So, I think in the expansion campaign that we have started, mass awareness would be a great help. Respected Chairperson, Sir, I rise to support this bill. I have gone through some of the provisions of the bill. It has already gone through the standing committee, which has made a couple of very good suggestions. The Honorable Member who spoke before me did say something about the Serious Fraud Investigation Office. Sir, 185 such cases have been reported to the SFIO in 2017. Now we have had over 30,000 registered chit fund companies in India. And if we talk about the unregistered chit funds, the figure is approximately 100 times more. We have such a large number in an informal sector, and I am happy to see that the government is trying its best to regulate this. Chit funds, committees, kitties are the various names given to it, and there has always been a sense of doubt regarding all these funds. I have had one incident in my own constituency of Jhansi, where a family of 4 was unfortunately burnt alive just before Diwali. It is because most of these people tend to collect the money and reimburse or disburse it back around Diwali. Unfortunately, there was over ₹1 crore lying in the house and someone looted it. So we have seen what happens when there is so much of unaccounted wealth or wealth which is being suppressed and not brought into the system. Such heinous crimes do take place. This constantly seems to be a trend which is mainly because people think that chit funds are very necessary. It is not the failure of the banking system as mentioned by an honorable member earlier. Chit funds are not for a limited period of time and for a specific purpose. Once that purpose is solved, they are able to lend quicker, they are able to collect the money quicker, and people are able to get some kind of return from it. So I am very happy to see that the government has brought in certain changes and provisions like increasing the limit to ₹3 lakh for an individual or to ₹18 lakh for a firm will definitely help the people. Regarding technology, the only thing I want to know is whether the data of recording done through video conferencing would be stored somewhere so that it can be re-verified by all the investors.